I work with USDA, NRCS, the Natural Resource Conservation Service, and our motto is helping people help the land. So that's what I'm here today to talk to you about some of our programs. NRCS resulted from the Dust Bowl. What do we do? Since that time, NRCS has been committed to helping people conserve soil and all their natural resources. Historically, our name was the Soil Conservation Service, but Congress decided to change it because we don't look at the soil, we look at everything. We call it SWAPA, so the soil, water, animals, plants. So we're one of the few federal agencies that our mission is mostly on private lands. We do go into some federal, but we can actually expend funds on private lands. So NRCS has pretty much professional foresters, soils people, range people, engineering staff. So pretty vast knowledge base. Gotta love technology. So our mission, we deliver conservation solutions so agricultural producers can protect the natural resources and feed a growing world. So again, on the district conservationists, I covered Team 3, which is we was broke it up into two parts. So we have the Upper Chum SWCD that we support, and then on the east side we have East Rio Rebo. So that's where I'm housed out of the Hernandez office. I also have an office here in Taos, and then I have an office in Santa Fe. So, and right now I'm kind of hosting in Santa Fe. I don't have anybody there, so I'm covering my office amongst the other three offices. So those are the counties that I serve. So today I want to talk to you guys mostly about the EQIP program. There's another program I want to talk about. But, EQIP is our biggest program. And it stands for the Environmental Quality Incentives Program. So this is where we go out and we actually go do a site visit. We evaluate the land. We're looking at different resource concerns. And then we look for best management practices that we can provide to you guys to fix those resource concerns. Our other big program is Conservation Stewardship Program, CSP. This is more of a stewardship situation where we're actually paying people to do good management. Kind of goes in hand with EQIP. Okay, now I'm going to talk about some of the stuff we do under EQIP. Structure for water control. So this has kind of a vast backing. So this is all our head gates, our alfalfa bells, any metal practice, concrete practice falls under structure for water control. And here's some of the examples that I put in over the years. Another real popular practice for Team 3 is high tunnels. You can see it. Standard sizes that you can do any size, but some of the standard sizes are 30 by 76, 30 by 100. And really the whole purpose of this is to extend the growing season, a couple of weeks in the front end, a couple of weeks in the back end. But some people have been very successful growing all year round, especially in the cool seasons like the lettuces and stuff like that. So they can sell at the farmer's market.
What were the sizes again?
Well, the standard sizes are 30 by 76 and 30 by 100. But we've had some a lot smaller.
Okay.
Okay, some of the types of irrigation pipe or conveyance, you'll see some PVC, that's mostly what we use. And then on the bottom, you see that stuff that's ridged on the outside, that's your HDPE, polyethylene pipe. It's really neat because it's smooth on the inside, so it passes the water a lot faster. But it's very durable. Usually with the PVC, we require 36 inches of cover. On this other black pipe, we can actually get away with 18 inches because it's a lot more rigid. And then we also do, this other one's a concrete line pipe. We don't do that very often, it's kind of an older practice. We do a few siphon tubes where we're basically just sucking water out of the ditch into the furrow. It's not very common here in this part of the state, but on the east side it's really common. And usually it's pumped out of a concrete ditch rather than the ditch. Concrete ditch lining, it's starting to pick up. So there's two different types. There's a trapezoidal one, and then there's some with vertical walls. And some of it we've done here is actually hand placed. It's on there in this mill right side of town. And then also there's what we call posts, so it's actually just dump the concrete in and it forms a post. The next type of lining I'm going to talk about is polyethylene. It's known as fast ditch is the one with kind of the half round, and then smart ditch is the trapezoidal shape.
Is that rigid? One of the left, is that rigid?
Yeah, it's pretty much rigid.
So it's like a pan for gold.
It's what's really nice about this. It's a lot less maintenance than concrete because, I mean, you don't have to go in and clean it out basically. Some of the type of sprinklers we put in, so the one on your right, the one on your left is going to be what we call hand move set. So it's just basically 2 or 3 inch aluminum pipe with sprinklers every 40 feet. And then the one on your right is what we call pod system. One manufacturers a K-line. You Google K-line, come up with that. And this system is pretty neat. A lot of people use UTVs or ATVs to drag it. So you put it, you know, say you want to have an 8-hour set, you just put it there and then you hook it up to an ATV and then you pull it. Turn off the pump, of course, and then as it empties out, then you move it to the next place.
David,
Sure.
on those ground sprinklers, can you use actually a generator to pump it directly out of the creek itself?
Yes, yeah, we have a generator with a pump. I mean, we've done all kinds of things. There's one pump that runs off a PTO off a tractor. I did one system like that. So you just back your tractor up to the water, and the PTO runs the propellers, pumps the water into the gated system.
So you can apply for those of you at the local NRCS?
Yes. Yep.
So what about the one in, you know, I have some property up north in San Luis, and so they would probably have the same concept, right?
Yes.
Could I apply here and get approved and go down there? Do I have a...
No, but what you can do is, like, the paperwork, you can come fill it out here, and then we can send it to wherever it's there. But the reason why you can't really operate your program here, for one thing, is a different state, but even in my offices, I get certain money per area, so it's got to be from that area. So it's kind of different, different part of money. Okay, we do a lot of drift. This is actually micro sprinklers. You can kind of see the sprinkler right here, and it just has a bubbler to help hold it. This was for an orchard. This is
So what is the copay on all these equipment?
okay. I like to use the example of the hoop house because it kind of does the point. So on a hoop house, we pay, and a lot depends on if you're historically underserved or not, but we'll get into that later. Let's just use $3 a square foot. So if you go and get the high-end hoop house or high tunnel, anything above that $3 per square foot is coming out of your pocket. If you kind of go with a bargain economy type hoop house, you can, and it's, let's say it's $2.50. You put that 50 cents in your pocket per square foot. So it really depends on you, shopping around, getting the best deal for you.
But you'll probably get into that, for the full amount, say what percentage would a veteran, would you have certain considerations for veterans?
Yes, we do. And it's one of those things where you got to qualify. We have a standard form. But if you're a veteran and a beginning farmer rancher, you're at a higher cost share rate. Well, let's get into that right now. We call this historically underserved. So if you're a veteran, if you're a minority, Native American, Hispanic, you're actually at a higher cost share than somebody that's not. They should be up, and they say it's 90%, but we can't really say that because a lot, again, it depends on where you buy your pipe or your structure, because we're only going to give you so much per foot or so much per pound or so much per square foot.
Could that 10% be waived under some consideration?
I've been with this agency, I've been with the government 30 years, but with this agency for 20. They've only waived it one time, and that's because of the fire. So, no. But here's the thing: if you put it in yourself, you don't have the installation cost, and we'll probably pay the majority of it. Because all these things are based on installed costs. So like a $3 per square foot includes installation. I'll be honest though, things have kind of gotten out of whack because our cost docket's usually a year or two behind, and because of COVID and inflation, stuff like that, we're probably not as high as we should be, but we're trying to get there. Okay, we also do a lot of vineyards, mostly in Santa Fe and some in Dixon, but you can see the drip lines on the top, and then we put 2 emitters per plant. In case one gets plugged, they still get water. Another practice, not too common here in this county, we do a lot in Reba, but it's land leveling. So with land leveling, it's very precise, it's in a tenth or 1.2 inches. So we do have this other practice we call land smoothing. So basically, that's just cutting the highs and lows of each field. So we'll go out there and survey it, and tell you where what you need to do to fix it, and then we'll put in these little ridges or borders to direct the water. So that way, you're not trying to irrigate your whole field at once. You're putting all your water in one certain section. That way, it helps push it, and then you move to the next section. And this works really well where you have limited water, so that way you can concentrate. Maybe you can't do your whole field, but at least you can hopefully do 1 or 2. PVC gated pipe. So you see the riser up there on the top coming out of the ground. So then the water fits on that, and then you put the gated pipe in. There's little gates. Most of them are either usually on 30-inch centers or 24-inch centers, depending on what you buy. And then the water shoots out. So that way you can control your water a little better. We do have a few pivots. Most of them are in the Cuesta area. This is one over by Youngsville. It's just a mini pivot. It's only kind of like a windshield washer type situation. We also do solid set sprinklers. You'll see this. This design was actually Ron Walser from the Conde Experiment Station, NRCS Experiment Station. He actually came up with this concept. Anyway, you can see this, the solid set sprinkler. And it's really neat because with this type of system, you need a little bit of water for a long period of time, which, you know, that's generally most of our ditches now. We also have these traveling stationary wind gun sprinklers.
So all the water is sourced from Lisekia? There's no well water?
Right. NRCS has not decided not to do irrigation wells.
Okay.
We do livestock wells, so for drinking, for them to drink out.
Yeah.
But we don't do irrigation wells. It's just too complicated, especially with a lot of these settlements and stuff going on right now.
What's the distance that one of those sprinklers will do?
It ranges, this particular one, I designed it, I want to say it's like a 50-foot radius. I mean, and there's bigger nozzles, it's just, that's the particular one we got.
Is it reasonable to use, like, especially like the one on the right is probably pretty inexpensive. Let's say you had a couple of acres that you wanted to move, you could move that around and probably cover it, right?
Sure. This one, you can't really see it, but maybe you can. You can see this wire, there's actually an attachment right there, so it's actually being drugged automatically. So it's actually moving itself. So what you gotta do, you know, you water 6 hours or whatever your set is, and then you have to move it manually.
Yeah.
That other one's automatic.
Like on your website, do you have links to some of this hardware that you know, like you're talking about?
Yes, yes, sure.
Okay, so it'd just be on the NRCS website.
Sure, send me an email and
Okay.
get you there. Do irrigation flumes. I don't know if you guys have seen that old wooden flume trampas. We also do metal type structures for acequias, not just private landowners. And I also listen because everybody generally thinks, you know, we do nothing but irrigation, but we also do a lot of stuff with livestock. So again, we do livestock wells. But I do want to throw this point in because there's a lot of people that want to drill well, but you know, if it's a dry hole, we don't pay. So I always tell that everybody up front because they get so upset, you know, when they hit a dry hole.
Related to the drill, well, that NRCS actually has drilled two for me up in north, up in San Luis, and I'm in the process. I got approved for another one. So one of the individuals, I was asking for probably go down. The water table is high up there, so I says, you know, go down maybe 120 feet. They hit, I think, water at 60. So, and he said, well, they will only allow us to go 80 feet. Is that a standard?
Every state's different because every state has a construction engineer. Ours, once we hit water, we're allowed to go 100 feet because that's considered storage. So that's the way we address it.
I would think that he would go, you know, down 100 feet. He's getting paid more by going just the extra 20 more feet.
That's 100 feet after you hit water.
Right,
After you hit water.
Right.
So that you're sitting in 100 feet of water.
So if he goes 60, hits water, then it'd be a total of 160 feet.
So it would be in addition.
We also do solar wells for pumps. And I mean, we just don't do solar, we do electric, we do pumps running off generators.
David, for those of you, you've got some really good information that will probably go into your house, we'll be able to obtain more information. Is that okay?
Sure.
But,
Matter of fact, there's some cards there, it's got my cell phone, I'll pretty much, you can reach me 24/7.
but,
Be careful when you say 24/7.
You can call me on weekends, which is fine.
so we're looking for a couple of, the timers and the solar to install up in Ojo Caliente and one up in San Luis. So the association, I guess, and the individual would have to apply for those, right?
Yes, sir.
And what do they run, roughly?
A lot of it depends on depth. Give me a call, I'll send you a website. It's RTS, it's the one I've been using.
I'll get a card from Joanna.
And I can send you all the information, you've got the prices there. Again, it all goes by depth, and then the number of solar panels, that's dictated.
Where do you have your office, David?
What's that?
Where do you have your office?
Well, my local office, the one here in Taos, it's right between the old Forest Service and the BLM.
That's the one, yeah, right across from, yeah. But you have a wealth of information. The office here is not open but once a week, maybe.
No, that's FSA, it's not NRCS. Trust me.
No, they're there. That's Vernon. Vernon works for,
Yeah,
Oh, that's
Vernon.
Vernon.
And that's,
Okay. So it's different than the other one.
right. As a matter of fact, glad you asked that. We just hired Stephanie Miller, her family used to be from around. She's,
Okay.
because I stole Daniel Romero, you guys know him.
So we would have to go through Vernon.
Or me, I mean, you can call me directly. So,
He said he has his office in Santa Fe, that's where he is.
no,
No,
Hernandez.
no.
Hernandez.
yeah.
Hernandez.
In an office, at the same office, okay, I know where it's at.
So we also, when we do livestock wells, we've got to get the water from point A to point B, so we use a lot of this PE, black polyethylene pipe. Generally, it's 200 PSI. It's really thick, really rigid, but it's great. And the way we do it is we use this big cap like this. Fortunately, I didn't get a picture with it's a tube, so you actually feed the pipe, the tube that attaches to this little shank. So you're actually ripping it in as you drive it. I'll show you this in the picture next. You can see the farm tractor has the spool, and it's going over the cab of the caterpillar, and he's ripping it in. So usually, this particular guy likes to do a pre-rip, so he'll rip it up, and then he'll install it on its way back. Because by spec, we have to go at least 24 inches. So. And this was done there in Caliente. So some of the rubber tires that drinkers, here's an example of one. We don't require a concrete pad, this one has one, but it has to be gravel. And then we also do a steel rim. All these practices, if you're what we call, again, historically underserved at HU, Hispanic, Native American, you qualify for what we call an AP payment, advanced payment. So we can upfront you half of the money for the practice, but you gotta expend the money within 90 days, or we're gonna ask for the money.
Those rubber tires, I have one at my place up in San Luis, and they work excellent. You can shoot at them, and they won't penetrate.
Right. I have an old rancher that instead of breaking the ice, he'll just drive up to him and hit him with his bumper of his pickup, so you don't have to get out to break the ice.
And we're gonna install 3 of those that we got from the Forest Service up in Ojo Caliente.
So
They're 1,000 gallon, right?
there's different sizes. We do a 13-foot diameter, so I think it's 1,250.
Yeah, that's a 13-foot diameter.
So, another option too is our sister agency, the Farm Service Agency. They actually have an office here. They're the ones that are staffed 1 or 2 days here a week. But anyway, they have a farm loan program. So, and it works really well with NRCS. The only requirement is when I make payment for your installation, it goes straight to them. But it's really fast to get a loan through them, and it's very low interest. I think they're still at 3%.
Do you also do trick tanks?
Yes. Yeah. Generally for wildlife.
We have a couple of Forest Services run for us up on our allotment, and they sure work well.
When nature's on our side.
When they
Because they fill with rainwater.
When it rains, yes.
Pardon?
They fill with rainwater.
Yeah. But during the whole winter,
They
they,
fill with snow.
yeah.
I've seen a few of them in different places.
So that's pretty much all I got. Hopefully I covered everything. There's a lot more practices we do. For instance, we do tree and shrub establishment. I'm a very big advocate of pollinator habitat, so we help with pollinator habitat.
What's the word? Which?
Pollinator?
Oh, pollinator. Okay. That, like, dealing with bee issues?
Yes, that is part of it too. Yeah, we have a noxious weed. If they're noxious weeds, generally weeds are. And we also do livestock ponds. Irrigation ponds we can, but it's kind of tricky. You guys got to get a permit before we can start that process.
You mentioned that other program, I think it was Conservation
Stewardship
Stewardship.
program, CSP.
What are an example of what some of those projects might be?
Okay. Thinking one up near Chama. So basically, it's a large ranch. It's probably 1,000 acres, and so what he's doing some things like wildlife-friendly fences. That means dropping the wires down to 44 inches for elk and deer to cross. He's doing grazing management. And with that, it's 528Q, which is our standard code for that. So you actually have to take pictures of your animals, 3% of your animals every month. And you're actually raising the carcass, and we give you kind of a scoring sheet. And you got to make sure that your animals are within, a 7 or 7 to 10, which is on a high end.
For leg weight?
Right, exactly.
Oh, okay.
And so basically he's having to monitor his grasses to graze it correctly, and he's getting compensated for that per acre.
Okay, so if you had like a rotational grazing, holistic management sort of thing, that would fit in with that?
Sure. Sure.
Okay. Now, and then so the program would help cover the cost of like the fencing that you would need for that?
Yeah, well, with the wildlife-friendly fences, we're just taking the wire down, so, just dropping it. So really, there's, I guess maybe the only thing you might need is, I don't know if you, depending on if you have wood posts, you have to take out the staple and put another one, or wire on, maybe new wire cut off the wood. It's really low cost.
Okay. Are there any programs around getting rid of things like willow and
Willows, no, because they're kind of native, so we don't get in that too much. And we actually like the willows because it stabilizes the banks, prevents erosion. But like if you have a noxious weed, Russian thistle, perennial pepperweed, any of those, we can go in there under noxious weed treatment.
What about elms?
Yeah.
What do you give us?
There are other programs, well, I don't know about this county yet, to be honest with you. I know East River has a program, they'll actually give you chemicals. So it depends on where you're at.
Well, there's such a thing as too much of a good thing, and well, I think you got to see how many willows that I've got in my place,
Right.
and man, just to keep them back enough to do something with. I mean, I have a couple acres at a time in some of those places, And so, but you don't have anything that would cover getting rid of those, right? Is there any way to get rid of them? I haven't found it.
There's chemicals the only way. A lot of times is, so I'm kind of an advocate of cut stump because it really protects the environment. So you're not out there just throwing chemicals.
Yeah, no,
So
I prefer not.
right, you just go out there and you cut them, you know, whether you use a masticator or whatever. Some people even just go out there with brush hogs. They brush them and then they come back and then they apply the chemical to the plant to make sure it goes into the plant. And timing is everything, because most of your plant, like right now, well, another couple of weeks is when I would do this, because most of the plants are taking carbohydrates into the roots and getting ready for the winter. So when they do that, you know, they're actually taking the poison into the roots.
What chemical is that?
There's different kinds. Usually with willows, it's usually in a wet area, so you got to use specific chemicals. Habitat's one. You know, it's made for stream bank.
I've got burdock, and I've tried a lot of stuff here with burdock. And I've finally decided to have cut it and paint the stump.
Right. 2,4-D works really well for burdock.
Okay,
Personal experience.
all right, thank you.
What's the eligibility? Do you need to have an FSA number or be filing a Schedule F?
Okay. So the answer is yes, you will need one. You don't need one. I don't need one to take your application. But you're going to need one for the program. Okay. So on the Schedule F, the only time you have to provide me a Schedule F is if you guys sign up as a beginning farmer or rancher. And basically that's somebody that has not filed a Schedule F within the last 10 years. So if there's 1 year within the last 10 years that you have not done it, you qualify as a beginning farmer or rancher. And with that, it kind of opens up a different pot of money. There's what we call BFR funds. And then you're actually at a higher cost share rate. Again, you'd be under the SD, Social Security Disadvantage.
And for FSA numbers, can you guys help us jump through those hoops? Because I know it's been...
Yes, we can. Again, they're right next door to us. And you know, I know those girls are only there 1 or 2 days a week. So yes, we can. Just so you all know, Ashley was my farm bill. That was her job. But we promoted her. But I'm trying to find another farm bill. So if you guys know of anybody who's looking for a job, send them my way.
Good luck.
And basically that person, that's her whole job is to help people get their eligibility.
So I live down by Sagebrush Inn, at that Greenville, which is west of Sagebrush Inn. And I'm going to put a pipe, water pipe under the ground. Do you have a really good idea about what the frost depth is, how deep I have to go? So that the HDPE won't freeze?
Okay, usually I go 36 inches, just to be sure.
36.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this 200 PSI pipe that we use, I've had it frozen solid, and it doesn't burst. It's so thick, and that's why we use it.
So that was going to be my first step, actually, was to lay it out on the ground, get all the fittings in. And if I could leave it there for the winter, that'd be great. And like, if I have a T and a valve in that, and that's all getting exposed to frozen, you think that'd survive?
Yep. I've been trying to drain it though. I put automatic drains on.
Yeah.
And,
Huh. Okay.
and that way, if you just put a drain on it, then you can just close it real fast when you need it, use it, and then drain it again.
Huh, okay. Thank you. Well, maybe I'll talk about that after.
I know we have at least one person here, and I know there's folks in Griego who are pushing acequia water through drip. But of course that requires filtration and stuff. Do you guys help with sort of that transition system to...
Yeah. Kind of, you know, I spent most of my career in Griego. So I kind of came up with this concept.
Nice.
So basically, the way I do it is I pump from the acequia into a storage tank. Matter of fact, those black ones that you saw there for the livestock pipeline, same ones. And basically, we use it kind of like a settling system. So it settles all the fines down to the bottom. And then when we're drying into our drip, we'll just suck off, you know, maybe 18 inches off the bottom, so that way we're not, all the sand, silt, and clay stay on the bottom, and we're pumping clean water into the drip system.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah, works really well.
Speaking of the safety, I've got a log rotted at the bottom of the ditch, and me and my neighbors have talked about trying to get money to line the ditch with something, so we're not doing as much work in the spring. Would you be the interested in talking about that?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
The only thing is, it's better if you guys come in as a group.
The safety association.
Yep.
Okay, thanks.
And then if the Sekia goes in for it, of course, the Sekia doesn't have an FSA number, is that?
You have to get one.
Oh, the Sekia has to get one, okay. And then a bigger question, each region only gets a certain amount of money. What is that, or like, right, like you have a certain budget for?
Right, well, it's really complicated,
Okay.
so let's get into that.
So the easy question, the small part is that, what's the formula for that? Is that based on how many people are filling out the Ag Census, or how many people have FSA numbers? Census.
Part of it.
So if we want to be encouraging more money coming into our region for the future, we need to push the census.
Yep. And the second part is the amount of private land and we have so much public land in my whole team, so we get hurt a little bit. Just so you know, out of the 11 teams in New Mexico, we're the smallest one. We only get $500,000. But here's the deal. There's a lot of different funds. So we have national funds, or pots of money, if you will. So there's different, like the Hoop House Initiative. That's one of those. We also have Water Smart and different ones. Okay, and then there's state funds, or pots of money, if you will. And then there's the team funds. So you run through all those processes. So when I receive your application, I mean, you could be in probably 10 different pots of money, potentially, especially if you're, let's say, beginning farmer rancher. And so you go to the national funds. If you have maybe a wildlife practice in there, so you could use wildlife, put you in that wildlife pot of money. You could be in their socially disadvantaged in the north area, and then you'd be in the team funds. So there's that stuff.
I have a very selfish question. I have a big greenhouse, and I'm looking into putting in a trough system for rafts and growing plants in rafts. Is that something? Can I get financial assistance for putting in troughs for growing in my greenhouse?
I guess really kind of a raised bed type stuff.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I don't think we have that practice.
Do you have to have a full-fledged conservation plan?
No, well, you can start. That's the first thing we're going to do. Remember I said we're going to go out to your site.
Yeah.
We'll do the assessment, make sure you qualify, give you an application at that time, and then we're going to go out there and see what you guys want to do. Because at the end of the day, we all know that, you guys are going to be the decision makers. So we're going to go out, see your resource concerns, what we need to treat. We're going to give you 3 alternatives generally. You will pick that alternative. From that alternative, we're going to actually rank you. Because we only get a certain amount of money. So we go from the highest ranking till we run out of money. But I'll tell you right now, due to the IRA, which is the Inflation Reduction Act, we got an additional $10 million in the state. And we funded a lot of applications last year.
Wow.
And we're going to get even more money next year. I mean, I've been with this agency for 20 years and I've never seen the numbers. We're hiring additional people to try and spend all this money. So, great time to apply.
Wow.
Is there a deadline for when, like, to get funds for the next growing season?
And I asked the state office before I came out today if they had a deadline. They still have not set one. Last year, all I can tell you is last year was November, the year before it was January. So somewhere it's going to be there. But we do have to advertise the deadline for 30 days. It's one of the requirements by Congress. So, it's not going to just be tomorrow, I guess. And also, we take applications 365 days. It's just that batching period. So if you want to apply for, funding as soon as possible, then you need to get it to us within reason. If you're not in a hurry, you want to wait a year,
No.
you can do that too.
As soon as that comes out, I'm sure we'll get a notice of some kind, and we'll put it in the TCEDC newsletter.
Sure, I'll let you know.
So if you're not already signed up for that, that's something we do. is-
And it's, when they do it, you guys can look at the New Mexico NRCS webpage. They'll have a big thing saying deadline.
So do I understand correctly that there'll be a deadline in a few months, and we get an application for that, and that will be for starting when funding starting in spring? Or
This year, we did our funding latter part of May, June.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's when the project would start? Okay.
Well, no, it's a little more complicated than that. Because we're using federal dollars, we have to do what we call cultural clearances. So we actually have to go out there, walk your land, make sure we're not disturbing culturally sensitive areas. And we have to send it to the SHPO, State Historic Preservation Office. So that takes a month. They get a month to review it. So there is a little bit of a lag time. So I don't want to say, that you're going to have your project within probably a year.
So if not then maybe a little later in the fall? Or
Sure. And a lot depends how big your land is, how complicated it is, what practices you're doing, because some of them aren't grounds disturbing, some of them aren't. So, there's a lot to it.
Okay, thank you.
So the first thing they need to do is come see you and set up a time that you'll come out, because there's not a standard.
Right.
It's all going to be, according to the conservation plan and the size and all this stuff. Right? So
Right.
they need to come see you.
Right.
I just talked to someone here in Taos County, and it took them 18 months to get their FSA number. Are you seeing that as a pretty typical turnaround for pretty competent on it folks to get an FSA number? And is that a problem in accessing all the money that's available right now?
I don't know how to answer that question because since I don't work for FSA, I haven't seen that.
Okay.
But then again, if they're only there 1 or 2 days a week, I could see it being, a little bit late, but
Yeah.
I got mine done quickly.
Did you? How long
It
did
wasn't bad. And part of it is you show up and they, you have to have, if not surveys, at least your property, your property stuff.
Yeah.
Documents so that they find you on there and they add those tracks off of the satellite imagery, right?
right.
And so they quantify how many acres, they ask you what's your grow on it, and so they kind of do a profile of your ranch or farm.
How long was your turnaround?
Pardon me?
How long was your turnaround going in to get?
Very, very quickly because I showed up with my documentation. I sat with one of the girls here, again, because they're here 1 or 2 days a week. And so they went one by one, added them in, created, gave me a farm number, and it didn't take it long at all.
Cool.
Yeah.
And really, the thing to do is call and schedule them.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know some house producers that actually drive to Hernandez. They're there the other 4 days a week.
But they do have, those ladies have so much work, it is incredible when finishing it.
Yeah. They've been trying to hire people too.
Yeah,
Haven't been successful.
yeah. But, because they handle all of now especially during the drought, they have, there were some programs around, let's say you're growing hay, and if you lost more than, I think it was it 65%? Then that last 35%, you'd be covered under, kind of the emergency sort of funding that they could help you with a portion of that. And if you buy, they also will sell you crop insurance, and then that has a lower threshold for what they'll pay. That helped me bail out of a couple of years ago when we had the real bad drought. The forecast was dry winter, and so I bought crop insurance. And it was very helpful in buying hay the following year when we didn't have much of a crop.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anything else?
You've got cards here?
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you.
Would you guys like for us to invite FSA to come do these? Would that be helpful?
I think that's a good idea.
Mhm.
You can,
Sure.
okay.
I think we have a lot of producers in Taos County that don't have FSA numbers, from my understanding. Like, the majority, maybe 20%, would you say, probably have?
Probably higher, just because we have so much turnover, you know what I mean? Because, you know, there's two things, there's a farm number, and that's associated with the individual, and then there's a tract number that's associated with the property, so, you know, somebody who comes in, they need, you know, farm number.
Had it not been the drought and there was some of, you know, kind of these disaster relief monies available, heck, I didn't know FSA existed until somebody pushed me, like, hey, you need to go register for that because, you know, they're gonna help you with hay next year.
Yeah.
And so, but I didn't know, I knew nothing. And then when you go to FSA, well, next door is the, you know, or your office is, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so it was like, oh, what do those guys do? And so, you know, and part of it is being aware and stuff. And if you're too busy working, sometimes you're not so aware.
Well, and I think like organizations like TCEDC and Alianza need to be supporting you guys with outreach work. You guys are pretty strapped.
Yeah.
We'll actually be, we've got some more funding is coming in that's not finalized yet. And under that one, we had, part of our plan was to work with them and have open houses at these offices. We would sponsor it and everything, but it'd be at their office. So people know where the office is and they know they're there and, you know, they can talk about what they do. And it would be FSA, NRCS, at least those two, and probably Taos Soil and Water. And
Yeah, you made a very good point, you know. That's one of our biggest partners, is Taos Soil and Water, Peter, company out there. I mean, there's a lot of money too, for smaller projects, you know, they'll help you put in head gates, small sections of pipe. And I can't say enough good things about their program. They help us out with a lot of our smaller projects, so.
And if y'all know of any other places that offer resources that have an office where we could, you know, do this, let us know. We're open to suggestion. We're always open to suggestion. You know, because we're not here to make ourselves happy. We're here to serve farmers and ranchers. If there are no more questions, thank you.
You're welcome.